If you're looking for some quick and easy Dollar Tree Christmas inspiration, you have come to the right place. Today's video is full of a ton of different tips and tricks and DIYs so that you can get ready for the holidays, so stay tuned. This is Whiskey and Whit. My name's Whitney, and on this channel I love to share DIYs and budget home decor, as well as tips, tricks, and tutorials around all things DIY. So if that's something you'd be interested in, be sure to hit subscribe down below so you don't miss a future Whiskey and Whit video. These are super easy to put together, and also I love that you could customize them with whatever colors you have in your Christmas decor. So let's get started. Up first, we're gonna make over some Dollar Tree glassware into some super high-end display pieces that you can use all season long. So first you're going to want a jar from Dollar Tree, whichever one works, and then I grabbed some of these wood shapes. I could only find the tree, but if you get lucky and find the other ones, you could use those too. And then I'm also using this super glue gel that I also got from Dollar Tree. I'm not a fan of E6000. Megan from Glue Guns and Roses swears by this stuff, shares it all the time, and so I decided to try it, and you guys, this stuff is awesome. I use this for mostly every project instead of my hot glue gun. I just put some glue on the top, applied it to the top of my jars, and then I took the lid off, took it outside, and I used this really pretty green color. It's called Hunt Club Green. I'll link it down below. I did a couple light coats so it didn't run, and that is it. It is so quick and easy, but how cute is that? If you are a Rae Dunn fan, you could easily put the Rae Dunn text on the outside with a decal, or you could do window clings. There's a ton of different options, but I'm gonna leave it plain like this. I really like it. It gives me classy vibes. Another idea is to take the same container but pull off the lid. You don't have to add any embellishments, but just cover it with some red spray paint. Then I took one of these ornaments that Dollar Tree has every year. I decided to do a snowflake, and I just spray painted it white for quick sake. Then I took that same super glue, put it on, glued it to the top, and added some baker's twine to finish it off. You could easily take this jar and make a fun cookie mix gift, or this would look awesome on a coffee bar. There's a lot of different options. And a third variation includes the tree on the top, like I did in the first one, spray painted the entire thing white, and then take a wood ornament of your choice. I decided to do this truck. I faux stained it with some antique wax, and then I just painted the tree green so it would pop off the white, as well as the tree on the top of the jar. It took 2 coats on the top of the jar, and then I just finished it off with baker's twine. I end up getting this from Amazon because I use so much every year. You can get it from Dollar Tree, but it's a lot more bang for your buck if you do the big spool from Amazon, which I will link for you down below. All 3 of these jars could go together, or you could do them individually. And again, you could make these whatever color that you want to match your decor style. Now, if you've been eyeing the printables and the styled shots, don't worry, I've got you covered. You guys loved my printables for the fall, so I have 20 new ones for the Christmas and winter season. These are 3 of my favorites. I've got a Christmas bucket list, this really fun buffalo check holiday festival, as well as this gingerbread recipe. I like to put them on Dollar Tree clipboards. It's really easy to switch out, and it's a fun kind of rustic, more neutral look. And also you can just swap out the printables each season, and you only have that one piece. It's really good for renters or people that don't have a lot of space to store, and you can still get really cool artwork. So I had some of those trees left over, and in my mind I thought these would make awesome beads, so I decided to try this out. I took the tree and I used some rubber end clamps. So these are DeWalt clamps. I got them from Home Depot. I clamped it down so it wouldn't move on me. I hung it over the side of my work table and very carefully drilled down through the center. I started at the bottom of the tree and was able to have it come out the top, and they drilled really nicely. I ended up staining some and then painting the others with that green color I used before. And then to string them up, I'm using some wood beads I had on hand, as well as these really fun buffalo check ones I've had for a while from Amazon. I just couldn't find the right project. And then I'm using my dowel needle and some jute twine just to string it all up. You can do whatever pattern you want. I did a unfinished wood bead, then buffalo check, unfinished bead, and a tree. And then for the ends, I decided to do 2 buffalo check tassels. So step 1 is to wrap some jute twine around your 4 fingers. I did 25 times, and then cut a longer piece to tie the ends. So slide it off your hand and tie just one of the edges here, so you basically have a big circle. Then I'm taking an additional piece of jute twine and I'm going to put that to the side, and I'm going to grab some of this thin buffalo check ribbon from Dollar Tree, but you could use any ribbon that you have. You could also use yarn for this. There's a lot of different options. I'm taking that same piece that I tied the circle with to just tie on the buffalo check ribbon. And then I'm taking that extra piece of jute twine that you saw me cut before, and I'm wrapping it around the top twice to create the head of the tassel. And then I tied it 3 times just to make sure it wasn't going to come unraveled. I took my scissors and trimmed the loops at the bottom, so that gives you your fringe. And then I just made sure to trim off any of the edges so everything was at the same length. The last step is to take the end of your tassel as well as the end of your string of beads and tie it, and then trim any excess. These give me all the Pinterest, Etsy, like all the styled vibes. I am so happy with how they turned out. If you find Dollar Tree beads, you could absolutely use those here. You could also paint the Dollar Tree beads if you want to be 100% Dollar Tree purist. But I like incorporating some other little pieces that aren't Dollar Tree to really elevate those $1 items so that you get more bang for your buck. I got a ton of comments on my Cricut Nativity silhouette, and so I wanted to do one for those of you that don't have a Cricut, or if you just wanted a 3D set. For this, I grabbed one of Dollar Tree's trays as well as this really cool 3D nativity set that's in their Christmas section this year. I was so excited when I found it. And I went through and stained my tray a dark walnut color. You can do whatever you have to match your house. You could also do paint. And then for time's sake, I just went through and took some flat black spray paint and spray painted both sides of the little figurines. It actually saved me a ton of time, but you could paint them or stain them. Again, you could do whatever you want. Then I flipped them over once they were dry, did the other side because you're going to see all of the edges, and then let that completely dry. Once that was done, I came back inside and used some more of that super glue gel. I got addicted to this just from this one video, you guys. It is insane. Apply just a little bit on the edge and then set it up as you go. I decided to move the back in just a little bit, so in case I ever want to put like a little LED tea candle or something in the back, there's enough clearance for me to do so, to have it shine through. Then I just grabbed random items from around my craft space to hold them up while the glue set. After I knew that the wise men were done, I did the manger as well as Joseph and Mary, and then I made sure to let that all cure. Really just 10 minutes. It doesn't take a long time, but you want to make sure that it sets before you're doing a ton because things will fall over. And here's what it looks like when it was all done. I decided to finish it off with just a little bit of jute twine wrapped around and tied. This little one I made for Finn's room so that he could have a nativity scene in his room. He's got a couple shelves in there, and so I like to decorate them seasonally. I almost did a backflip in the store at Dollar Tree when I saw these sleds, and I can't do backflips, so if that's telling you something, I was very excited. These are gorgeous, and they take stain just as well as all of the other blanks. I stained 2 of them in dark walnut, and then when I had some issues getting into the little crevices, I just went through with a little paintbrush, and that allowed me to get in those little areas. When both of my sleds were dry, for the first one, it was really easy. I just took one of these bows from Dollar Tree. If you can't find these, just do some ribbon. And I just used the little bread twisties in the back to twist tie it on to the little centerpiece of my sled. It looks like it's a Christmas gift, super quick and easy. For the other one, I wanted a little color, so I used some red chalk paint to just cover that top piece. And then I also wanted to change up the hanger. Instead of it just being regular jute, I added some fresh jute as well as just a little bit of baker's twine. These take up a good amount of space on a tree. These are super easy to make and to customize if you have a tree that you're looking to decorate this year. These do not look like Dollar Tree at all. If you don't want the stained color, you could easily just quickly spray paint the whole thing. If you just wanted them to be white or red, etc. You could add Cricut decals. The sky's the limit. I love these things. So this year I want to incorporate some more greens and neutral tones into my Christmas decor along with my signature red and black buffalo check. So to do that, I wanted some items for tiered trays. So I grabbed 3 of these little lights from Dollar Tree that are glitter bombs, and I just twisted off the light at the bottom. The lights here are like red, green, multicolor. They weren't going to work for my vibe. So once I popped it off, I grabbed 3 of my favorite colors of spray paint, the Hunt Club Green, Flat Black, as well as Fossil. I will link all the names and the different kinds down below. Went through, sprayed everything. I ended up doing 3 light coats to get the coverage, but not the drips. And then when they were dry, they still had a really pretty kind of shimmer to it. You could kind of see a little bit of the glitter through, but it had definitely been neutralized to my liking. So these are gonna live on tiered trays, I believe. And I also think I might go grab some more of these because it'd be nice to make a little forest. If you're more of a tiered tray person or you want some smaller signs, I've got some other printables that will be available on my blog as well with those other ones. These I will size for you. For these frames, they're 3.5 by 5, but I also have these pieces of artwork as the 8 by 10 as well. I just printed them and cut them out and put them into the frame, and these are super nice to have on hand. You could swap them out whenever you need. I did Farm Fresh Christmas trees as well as this Farm Fresh Christmas greens with the buffalo check. I have 2 versions of the cardinal one as well. I've got this one that says let heaven and nature sing, and then I also have this one about angels being near when you see cardinals at the holidays. I go a little hog wild with trees at Christmas, and they aren't all full size because our house isn't that big, and so for this small tree, I wanted to have some faux presents for my display. So I grabbed some of these cutting boards back in the fall when I did my buffalo check pumpkins, and I decided these would make really great presents as well. Now this is optional if you are going to cover the whole thing with paint, but because I wanted the dark stain to show through, I took some dark walnut stain first. Then when it dried, I did a cross between a full paint job and a dry brush. I wanted some of that rustic kind of wood tone to show through, but I didn't want too much because I wanted the pigmented color. Here you could do whatever your taste is. You could do a just really light brush where it just looks like it was kind of dry brushed on, or you can cover the whole thing. If you do that, you don't need to stain it beforehand. I made sure to get the back and the sides covered as well, and then it was time to wrap my presents. So I used some of this ribbon. This is from Michael's. I got it on clearance last year. I like the fact that the buffalo check looked like it was mixed with burlap. I wrapped it around long ways, and then when I got to the back, I just crossed my ribbons over. So here we're just crossing and wrapping it around. If you're not a big present wrapper, that's an easy way to do it. Then I'm taking my 2 ends, wrapping them underneath that vertical piece so that it comes together kind of as a T or a cross in the center. And then I'm just doing a quick little tie of a bow. And then because my ribbon is wired, I'm able to fluff up the little loops at the top and then trim the ends. I went through and did something very similar to my green one, except for instead of putting the cross in the center, I moved it more to the side. That will allow me to put the 2 presents side by side and have them be staggered, and you can see the embellishments on either side. I finished this one off with just a little Dollar Tree snowflake that I had painted white from a prior project. They're the perfect size for this Target tree I've had for a couple years. The red and the green are traditional, but they're not too much. I like that muted green, and that ribbon, I'm so glad I got a huge container of it. That will be coming out a lot this season. Thanks so much for watching. As always, let me know down in the comments your favorite project, and also be sure to hit subscribe if you're new so you don't miss a future Whiskey and Whit video. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!